Hello everybody, in this video we're going to talk about Overwatch 2, the new things from BlizzCon 2021, and some information for even for new players who haven't played the original Overwatch. So Overwatch is a PvP, a 6 vs 6 first-person shooter game. When you choose a hero, one of 32 as of the time we're making the video, yes, there are many heroes you can choose from, and you can fight against other players in different game modes. Now this is a great game if you like kind of a strategic game. In some ways it actually reminds me of mobile games where there are lanes, you can actually flank enemies, kind of more strategic compared to just just run and gun in the deathmatch like Call of Duty style. So this one has another layer of strategic gameplay. And yeah, this is probably one of the reasons I love Overwatch so much, and why I prefer to playing this one over games like Call of Duty, for example. But the thing is that Overwatch 2 is going to be different. They are going to take this game and just buff it up with so many new features. Now this includes new maps, new heroes, there are going to be new game modes, change to the different type of abilities that heroes will have, including the ability to actually upgrade their hero ability to make them kind of fit their personal playstyle, or to tackle different meta in competitive mode. Now Overwatch maps are absolutely amazing. So when you hear about new maps like Gothenburg, for example, what you see here in front of you, and one from the India, in Rome, in New York. Now as much as I'm excited about maps, it's not only about the maps. It's something will get me excited playing Overwatch 2, because this is something they could add easily in a DLC, right? So there must be more to it in order to get people excited getting into Overwatch 2, rather than just seeing this as kind of a DLC. And in my opinion, Blizzard does want, in order to to monetize on this and get a full price for a new game. But in order to do this and convince people, they need to come with kind of a substantial amount of content to convince people this is really something new and excited, and they invested much more, so they won't get like Overwatch 1 same experience. They want to get really something more when they buy the game, and again, it's a new game. But speaking about new game, keep in mind that all your skins, when your progression, all will be capped and move on to Overwatch 2. So if you invested buying skins, for example, for your character, you will have them in Overwatch 2 as well, so you didn't spend your money for nothing. This will be kept with you when you transform your character, your profile, to Overwatch 2. Now keep in mind that Blizzard still experimenting with different things. Not everything is final, so maybe things that they actually announced will change or modify later on. Now there will be changes to the characters. As you can see here, this is the new look of some of the characters like McCree here and others, and they look absolutely amazing. This is kind of a progression of the story, so you expect them to look different, and no, something exciting to get into, right? When you buy Overwatch 2, you're gonna see the new look of the characters. It seems like they go with the kind of a more metallic and a more futuristic look, as you can see here. But overall, the persona that we remember and the look still remains. Look how beautiful Widowmaker looks. Now, if you ask me, this is still not something that will get me excited, right? Not the skins. I don't come for Overwatch, by the way, for the skins. I like getting them, but it's not something that kept me in the game. And maps are great, I have to admit, but again, I want more. Something that Overwatch will be much more compared to the previous one. I played with friends, and eventually many of them just left because they got bored. I continue playing from time to time, but myself also got bored, so I wanted really Overwatch 2 to bring me back to the game. Yesterday I actually played the game because I missed it so much, but I want Overwatch 2 to really get me excited to play Overwatch all over again. Now, one of the things that excited me the most, both the passive abilities for each role. For example, the tank will be more resilient to knockbacks, and DPS characters will be able to move faster, so kind of something that more fits to the role. But I think the character progression was one of the more exciting things. As you can see here on the screen, this was kind of shown very briefly in one of the panels there in the intro. As you can see here, this is for example, Soldier 76. As you can see, this is a kind of an upgrade tree, and you can choose how you probably going to spend your points or whatever they're going to use here in order to progress and apply different abilities. And I guess there's a kind of a tree, so you won't be able to activate maybe everything, but you're going to choose the one ability, those abilities that actually fits your playstyle. As you can see at the bottom right, spend talent point. as you can see here, you have 34 available points in total, right? And you need to spread them. So you're gonna kind of create your own character, and this is like kind of a, you know, when you are in MOBA games, when you, for example, upgrade your character during the game, here is, I think, going to be permanent. But again, you're probably gonna be able to reset. There's a button there, you see, kind of a reset button. So it seems you can reset your abilities and kind of spec them differently based on your playstyle. And probably it's kind of when you see, for example, you get into a game, you play with your favorite character, and something the meta changes, and you want to adapt to different comps, you can actually respec and come up with something new and surprise your enemies with kind of a new composition with this. So this really can enhance the dynamics in competitive gameplay. Now, I think this was done to counter one of the biggest issues for competitive players, even professional players, is, you know, when you pick another character, usually there's a kind of a counter to the other one. So there's kind of a very non-dynamic meta. Whether in this one, you can actually create really unique and dynamic builds for your character and combine this one with other things for other characters, and even make some characters more viable in fights, rather than make them, for example, useless, because you can have so many dynamics with other characters and also come to a fight and surprise your enemies with really unique builds that they don't expect. I mean, it is something that looks really unique and interesting to the game, and again, it's something that allows you to get more fun playing your characters, because there's more to play with this. Right now in Overwatch, you pick a character and that's what it is. There's nothing really you can do. You have your abilities, your ultimate abilities, but no, nothing that you can actually create your own character that adapts to your own playstyle, or maybe when you play with a group, to synergize something with your group in really unique way that enemies that you won't be so predictable during the fight. So for example, enemies know that this is Soldier 76, they all know what it can do, and that's it. But maybe you can come with something different and make a character that they don't expect to be, for example, stealthy or flanking, to kind of adjust the setting to do so. So it kind of move a bit from its very well defined role as it's right now to something that is more dynamic and unexpected. I also really like the idea how they buffed certain characters, for example the role of the tanks, for making them, for example Reinhardt, not to be like a shield, so players just try to attack his shield or flank him from behind, and he's kind of very vulnerable. So make him more intimidating and use this role to be more exciting in a way. And I think when they said they want to push things to being more cinematic, that's what they mean. Less static, more action, and roles of certain characters feel more exciting to play. So player will want to play more tanks. Right now, I think when I go, not many people want to play a tank. It's kind of a boring character to play, but I think they want to buff it up to make it more vulnerable, instead of giving you a reward if you're gonna play a tank, which what they actually do. They give you a reward if you decide to play a tank, because most people don't want to play a tank, so they want to encourage people to play it. So I think they're gonna make really kind of a significant changes to tank, so people who really want to play them. Now, for example, they mentioned for Reinhardt, you know, when you just rush forward. Right now you can actually control it a lot, right? But now, not now, but when Overwatch 3 is released, you have much better control, and you can actually cancel the charge. So you have much better control over your driving mechanism. You push yourself forward, and you can even use your fire strike to do it more often. And again, something that I'm looking forward to, and I think like Reinhardt mains would be very, very excited about this. And even those who didn't like playing tanks, we probably gonna think twice and probably will think that, all right, I'm going to be much more aggressive and much more prominent in the fight now. Maybe I should just try and play a tank for a change. Now keep in mind that everything I'm saying here, based on what I heard, is subject to change. They're just iterating with different things, and it doesn't mean that once Overwatch 2 is getting out, we're gonna see everything that's actually mentioned. Even they say that Blizzard, they are mentioning that they're kind of iterating over things, and they might not ship, so you might not see this change, but I have a feeling this will be something that will be available, even if not by default, maybe in kind of the skill tree, we'll see. But overall, this looks like very exciting news, and I've seen the gameplay, by the way. Reinhardt looks amazing. You can stop, you can smash, you can do things more often, you can really feel you're fighting. It doesn't feel like a boring character to play anymore. Now, one of the great changes that I found that I personally really like, and I'm sure everyone will like it, is the changes in the sound, sound effects. Basically, now when you shoot, depends on the location, you're gonna hear the difference in sound. And from what I've seen, they actually sampled many, the shooting sound in different places, like in hallways, in open areas. So when you actually shoot, for example, they showed an example of Soldier 76 shooting in the canyon, in open space. It just sound different compared to when you shoot it in a very tight hole. So the echo might be different, and you're gonna feel the difference. This is something really exciting. Probably before that, what it was is kind of more monotonous, kind of the same, more or less the same sound, maybe with slight changes. But now we're gonna have much more changes. So basically, just simple, depends on the map. For example, different areas when you shoot, you just go out to the field, record the gun with the sound, and now they can actually apply it. Depends on the location where you are actually shooting on the map, and probably did it with many of the weapons for the different heroes. They also make a different enhancement for the sound effects. Or we're gonna feel more punchy. You're gonna feel like you really more engaged and fun when you're actually shooting with a weapon. So again, this is something that is kind of a side note here, but again, something that I'm looking very forward to, and I think we're going to enhance the gameplay by quite a lot. I mean, sound effects are very important in my opinion, especially with shooters. I mean, imagine when you shoot, for example, like a machine gun with this sound effect, like, right? Or it really makes you kind of make the gun feel more tactile. You just kind of feel that you're shooting with something powerful. And these sound effects are so important. Without this, you won't feel the power of your weapon, basically, right? All you see is just, the animation. So I think it's very, very important to even enhance it even more. And that's what they did. Now let's talk hero missions. They spend quite a lot of time talking about this because PvE is going to be something big in Overwatch 2. But in Overwatch 1, I felt like, although they added later, we can actually get some skins if you play, kind of doesn't matter which mission you play the game, you can earn rewards, even skins. It seems like, the monetization there is just loot boxes. You can actually get skins that we really like if you don't get to get them through just unlocking loot boxes through play. And this is actually why I felt like progression is non-existent in Overwatch, and forget about PvE, it wasn't something really exciting. And here they actually want to add, the plan is to add even hundreds of missions, and it's really be hard for you to kind of progress your character. You need to do a lot of missions to progress your character, something that you're going to feel very rewarding while you're actually unlocking something. And this is very important for them to actually nail properly. It shouldn't be something easy. You just go play a week, alright, I'm done with it, and after a week you have nothing to do there. This would be some missions, kind of a Diablo style, where you get things that are very, very hard, very difficult. You need a group to do it, and you need to get even better and unlock new skills in order to progress. Make PvE really something unique that can stand compared to other games that use PvE elements and feels very rewarding. So hopefully Overwatch 2 will feel something like that. Again, it's important that you won't finish it very quickly and just drop it and say, alright, I'm bored with this. They need to be at more dynamics, different mission probably, with modifiers, maybe unique different mission each week or each month. It's something that will make people want to come back every day. And again, it's supposed to be very, very rewarding. Now keep in mind, there are some players who don't want to play PvP, who love PvE, or some that just want to take a break from PvP, from the stress of PvP, and just have fun cooperatively with friends. That's what, by the way, Destiny did so well. And if you ask me, I want raids in Overwatch 2. Yeah, I want like very challenging missions with boss fights. There's something in the end. This is something that I want. I want something like that. I want to feel kind of a Destiny feeling when I group up with friends. And no, it's not new formula. The formula is already there. They just need to implement it to match the gameplay of Overwatch. Now the next thing is something huge. And this is something that I really like. What you see here, they actually show it in the panel of Overwatch 2, is actually a sandstorm. A sandstorm that happens in Temple of Anubis. So what they actually did, again, listen, if you want to create a PvE and you just play the same maps, it's going to be boring. I mean, I got bored with this. Playing on the same map exactly, nothing changes, just with fighting different enemies. It's not fun. It's not fun. So what they did, try to enhance the experience. So for example, this introduced different units. and different hero mission types. And they take place at the same multiplayer maps. However, and this is the big thing, they actually created new spaces to some of those maps. So for example, the level design will change, and even the art and different places look differently in order to make it the experience much better. So you can discover, for example, a new area in King's Row that you haven't seen before. And this is something very exciting. You know, you already know the map, you kind of feel connected with this. But now, for example, the payload's going to take another turn and you're going to find another different area there that you haven't seen before. And by the way, the environmental effects are absolutely amazing. If they keep this one and they bring it to the game, this feels so much more exciting. Now, not for competitive gameplay, they probably don't want to have this because you want things to look just the same so players can adapt to a certain map without, for example, one team being affected by a certain environmental effect and the others not. So it's not for competitive, this is straight for PvE, but just look amazing. Finally, you can see the trees moving. Even as you play, you're going to see the weather change. So this is something that really feel, again, this is their approach to things, appear most cinematics, and this is something that I want to see. These are the changes that should have been in the Overwatch, the first Overwatch with PvE, but now we're going to have them in Overwatch 2. This is the extra thing that they need to push. Not playing the same map, put more areas, make players really excited to discover this. So again, great news for PvE. There's going to be daylight and nighttime, and again, different kind of environmental changes like rain, for example. Although Blizzard mentioned this like, you know, like it's like a new discovery. Well, it's not a new discovery. Like, this is something that they needed to add. But they experimented and it looks great. Of course it's going to look great. Of course, if you're pushing to a more cinematic feeling, like you do in trailers, right? You really want to add the weather effects rather than they make everything just look static. Static is boring. I understand the reason not putting it in competitive, but in PvE, it's a must. It's a must. Well, and apparently it's in, so another feature that I'm really looking forward to. Now, it's not everything. They actually, you're gonna know when you get into a certain location, you're gonna know if there are weather effects and if it's nighttime or not, and you actually can change your composition of your team based on what's there. So this is very exciting. Hopefully, they're gonna apply some modifiers, you know, that you actually want to choose one character over the other, make some changes to your character, maybe for the skills, in order to make sure you're ready for this fight. So for example, they mentioned like Widowmaker that allows them to see through Sandstorm more clearly. They actually mentioned it and saw a gameplay when targets even are highlighted. So again, this is something that can be very exciting. So if you go to a Sandstorm or the Sandstorm in a certain mission, we might choose Widowmaker to go with her. This is exciting. This is really exciting. Wow. And by the way, I personally want like something like in Destiny, like we have like Nightfall, right? Hard missions every week, maybe on Friday, so everybody comes together. Very tough missions. I really hope they implement something like this. This was so exciting, and it should be very rewarding. So again, these are the type of things that you have like one event in a week, and people looking forward to this event. Rather than having the same thing all over, like when it was strikes, you have kind of a more hard mission, difficult mission that you want to invite the friends that are the best in what they do and the best everything, just to make sure you finish it and get this reward. In Destiny, for example, you have a very high chance to get an exotic after you finish this. So I want something like that to be in Overwatch. That would be insane. Just hope they implement something like that. But I think the best thing is actually the talents and the progression of the characters, and this is something that I'm looking forward to play the most. So demonstrated, for example, one ability that allows you to, for a soldier to actually, when it moves, the healing actually move with it. Or when Mei, for example, just roll kind of as an ice and just can roll and just push down enemies. Now you need to understand that Blizzards are the king of creativity, so being Overwatch feels like kind of a game that limits them so much with what they can do, because they want to focus on the competitive scene so much, and now they have the ability to finally do something amazing with this game. I mean, with all these amazing trailers, what it's worth if the character is the same thing again, the maps are static, again, changes that really don't make the game really fun to play, especially those who love PvE, right? And things that they really wanted to kind of get crazy with things, but again, because of the obstacles they put do for themselves, they weren't able to do so. So finally they break it, and they need to do this, guys. They need to do this. There's so many amazing games out there. It just bursts with creativity, and games similar to this. And now they kind of get stuck because of the very, very strict competitive aspect of the game, that they can't really go anywhere. So just play with skins and stuff. Come on. But of course it's going to get boring at some point. Now Blizzard take Overwatch 2 to the next level, and they can just do whatever they like. You can just crazy ideas, and what they showed people really like. So this is an evolutionary change for Overwatch, and the PvE is going to be amazing because of this. And now they can really bring Blizzard and all of their talent when it comes to creative gameplay and put it in and make people enjoy the game like it should have been. I'm telling you, there's so many of my friends just stop playing because they already sense this kind of static, non-dynamic gameplay that they know they're going to get bored after several times, unless they're going to play competitively with a group. But as you know, if you play solo without friends, you're going to get stuck in a certain rank, and it's just going to be repetitive gameplay that you can't even progress. So for many players. So this is why kind of people love this game, but that's why the game kind of died inside for many. And now this is Overwatch 2 is going to bring something back, something much more exciting, and it's Blizzard. You know it's going to be amazing. Now, of course, new abilities mean you're going to have really cool things. For example, this is Winston, but just doing electric damage. And this feels more like an RPG. By the way, I really think that Overwatch would be an amazing RPG game. And maybe this was the first lane. They wanted to create an MMO with this. They mentioned they canceled their plan to be MMO, and they bring in some of the characters. So maybe this was supposed to be that type of game, but eventually just kind of drop it. And maybe just don't want to bring cover a mini of that game. All these kind of really cool ideas that they iterate through many years back, and now we can actually introduce them into Overwatch 2. Of course, in kind of a very limited way. But if you ask me, playing Overwatch, a really full-fledged RPG game, oh please, MMORPG, this is just a wet dream. I'm telling you, this is just wow. But again, you're gonna have kind of a mini version of it, but hopefully with nice iterations of different unique modifiers and stuff and abilities and new missions, and it's gonna be interesting and will provide us with great replayability. Now, in my opinion, again, this is my opinion, the reason also it takes longer time, because I really think Blizzard don't want to screw this one up, so they are taking their time. And by this time, they collect lots of feedback from you based on what you've seen. They actually probably doing their own QA inside and inviting other players to test it out and provide feedback. But they are getting, I think, tons of value feedback from the community based on what they release and share. And this is very important. Many do this because, it's for the players eventually, right? So players know what they want, and especially the hardcore fans. So they want to make sure they nail it correctly. This gives them more time to iterate through things, test this out, and it's very important because they already have the analytic data to provide them about the PvE, what we have right now in Overwatch. So this is one thing that is very important because not many get to play like the development game of Overwatch 2, right? Probably some lucky few. But again, they are getting data and analytics and analyzing this and see what works and what doesn't, and what actually causes people to actually stop playing those missions and just go back to PvP. And again, there are lots of discussion on Reddit and many others. I'm sure they are following everything, but the goal is to try to deliver really based on all this data together, compile everything and really deliver experiences that work. And by the way, they can get inspired by many other games out there, right? That work, that people love them. It's not like something you need to dig in the sand or really get feedback from millions of players. I mean, there are already games that actually were able to knock it perfectly, and people enjoy them, have high replayability, they don't get bored, they continue and coming back for more. These type of things that actually, like what I told you, for example, like giving a unique mission each week, right? Not something that feels like every day is the same day. There's something in the weekend, it's amazing, everybody comes together to do it. This type of dynamics, interesting, something to look forward to. These are the things that they need to implement, that they need to get inspired by some other games that actually done it correctly. Now, again, they spend more sharing more information about Overwatch 2, and from what I've seen, I'm very optimistic of Overwatch 2 being the game that I really wanted to play when it comes to both PvP and PvE. They're going to be in-game cinematics. They're going to be like huge maps for the story campaign, and hopefully again they create lots of dynamics and interesting stuff that will keep us getting back for more. For what I've seen right now, it looks like they're going to nail it. But again, it's still in development. But again, I'm very happy for what I've seen. These are great news. Like if there was something that was kind of in quotations lazy, you know, kind of making some like half-baked experiences, I probably would have noticed, but I hear them, they really don't want, especially Jeff told in front of the camera, they don't want to be like kind of a DLC, an extension, something. They want to really create another big thing, you know, for Overwatch 2. And this is exactly what I wanted Overwatch to be in the first place, to be honest. But if I can experience this in Overwatch 2, I'm fine with this. And it won't be, of course, I'm going to buy it day one when it comes out. But again, hopefully they will deliver on the promise. But right now, it looks very exciting from what we've seen so far. So this is it for this video. Again, you can find more information about this on the official Blizzard channels. Again, this is just unofficial. And there is also the panels on YouTube for BlizzConline. And again, I recommend watching this with more detailed information. But this is something that I wanted to share in my opinion about what I've seen. And again, overall, I'm very excited. So again, thanks for watching, everyone. I see you very soon on the next video. Bye bye. Cheers.